There's a reason why some men naturally attract women without even trying, while others do everything right and still end up alone. And it has nothing to do with looks, money, or even confidence. What I'm about to share with you is the single most important principle of attraction that 99% of men will never understand. This isn't a trick. This isn't a technique. This is the fundamental law that governs every successful relationship between a man and a woman. And once you understand this, you'll never look at dating the same way again. So pay close attention, because this is the foundation that everything else is built on. By the end of this video, you'll understand why you've been struggling with women, and more importantly, exactly what to do about it. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that when you meet someone who is exactly like you, who thinks like you, who acts like you become friends, you enjoy their company, you have great conversations, but there's no spark, no tension, no electricity? Now think about the opposite. Think about someone who is fundamentally different from you, someone who operates in a completely different way. That's when you feel something. That's when attraction happens. And this isn't just my opinion. This is a fundamental principle of nature. In physics, energy is only created when opposite forces interact. A battery has a positive terminal and a negative terminal. Without both, there's no power. You can have the most advanced battery technology in the world, but if you don't have both poles creating that tension, that polarity, you get nothing. The same principle applies to attraction between men and women, but here's where most modern men go completely wrong. Society has spent the last few decades telling us that men and women are basically the same, that we should think the same way, act the same way, want the same things, that there are no real differences between masculine and feminine energy. And this lie is destroying men's ability to attract women. The truth is that men and women are fundamentally different. Not better or worse, just different. We operate on different frequencies. We process the world in different ways. We have different natural strengths. And when you try to be similar to a woman, when you try to think like her, act like her, relate to her on her level, you kill all attraction. It's like trying to create electricity by connecting two positive terminals. It doesn't work. There's no polarity, no tension, no spark. But when you embrace your natural masculine traits, when you become the opposite of her feminine energy, that's when she becomes magnetically drawn to you. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what this means. I'm going to give you 6 specific traits where you must be the complete opposite of feminine energy. And when you master these, women will respond to you in ways you've never experienced before. These aren't things you need to fake or pretend. These are your natural masculine traits that society has trained you to suppress. All you need to do is reclaim them. So let's break this down. What does it actually mean to be masculine in a way that creates attraction? I'm going to show you 6 areas where you need to embody the opposite of what she naturally is. And pay attention, because each of these traits builds on the previous one. The first trait is decisiveness. Women, by their nature, are exploratory. They like to consider options, feel into possibilities, and stay open to what might happen. This isn't a weakness. It's just how feminine energy operates. It's fluid. It's adaptive. It considers multiple paths. But as a man, you cannot be this way. You need to know what you want. You need to make decisions quickly. And you need to stick with those decisions. Let me give you a practical example that happens all the time. You're taking a woman out to dinner. You arrive at the restaurant and the waiter hands you both menus. Watch what happens. She'll stare at the menu for 5, 10, sometimes 15 minutes. She'll ask you what you're getting. She'll ask what's good here. She'll narrow it down to 2 options, then change her mind 3 times. This is completely normal for her. She's exploring. She's feeling into what she wants in that moment. But you should know what you want within 30 seconds. Scan the menu. Make a decision. Order confidently. Don't hesitate. Don't second-guess yourself. And here's what's interesting. When you do this, she'll often just order the same thing you did. Or she'll ask you, "What do you think I should get?" Why? Because she's testing whether you can lead. She wants to see if you're the kind of man who knows what he wants and goes after it, or if you're the kind of man who wavers and needs her input to make a decision. Now let's say you order a steak, and she says, "Oh, I don't think that's a good choice. The fish is supposed to be better here. You should get that instead." Do not change your order. This is a test. She wants to see if you'll stick to your decision or if you'll fold under the slightest pressure. When you hold your ground and say, "I'm good with the steak," you pass the test, and her attraction for you increases. But if you say, "Oh, okay, maybe you're right. I'll get the fish instead," you fail, because you just showed her that you don't trust your own decisions. The principle here is simple. Always know what you want. In restaurants, in life, in everything. When you're planning a date, don't ask her, "What do you want to do?" Tell her, "We're going here at this time." When you're making any decision, make it quickly and confidently. Indecisiveness signals weakness, and weakness kills attraction faster than almost anything else. The second trait is emotional stability. Women are emotional beings. Their feelings change rapidly. They can be happy one moment and upset the next. They can be excited about something today and completely indifferent to it tomorrow. And this isn't a flaw. This is how they're designed to operate. Emotions are their guidance system. They navigate the world through feeling. But as a man, you cannot mirror this behavior. You need to be the stable point that doesn't move, no matter what emotional storm is happening around you. Let me paint you a picture. You're with a woman, and suddenly she gets upset. Maybe she's stressed about work. Maybe something you said triggered her. Maybe she's just having a bad day and doesn't even know why she's upset. The weak response is to immediately react, to get defensive, to ask, what did I do wrong? To try to fix it right away, to match her emotional intensity. But this makes everything worse, because now there are two people being emotional, and there's no stability in the interaction. The strong response is to remain calm, to listen without reacting, to be present without being pulled into the storm. You might say something simple like, I can see you're upset, take your time. And then you just stay calm. You don't try to solve it immediately. You don't get defensive. You just remain stable. When you do this, something powerful happens. Her emotions naturally settle because she feels your stability, and it gives her something solid to ground herself against. It's like she's a boat in rough waters, and you're the anchor. The waves can crash all they want, but the anchor doesn't move. This is what women mean when they say they want a man who makes them feel safe. They're not talking about physical safety. They're talking about emotional stability. They want to know that no matter how chaotic their emotions get, you won't be shaken, you won't crumble, you won't panic. Think of yourself as a mountain. The weather changes around you. Storms come and go. Rain, wind, lightning. But the mountain doesn't move. That's what you need to be. And here's the key. This doesn't mean you're cold or unfeeling. It means you're in control of your emotions, not controlled by them. The third trait is purpose. Women are naturally relationship-focused. Connection, communication, and emotional intimacy are their primary concerns. This is where they derive much of their meaning and fulfillment. But as a man, your primary focus cannot be the relationship. Your primary focus must be your mission, your purpose, what you're building in the world. And here's the paradox that confuses most men. Women are most attracted to men who prioritize their mission over the relationship. Let me explain why. When a man makes a woman his top priority, when he rearranges his entire life around her, when he's always available and always focused on her needs, she loses respect for him. Not because she's cruel or ungrateful, but because she instinctively knows that a high-value man has important things to do. Think about it from her perspective. If you met a woman who had no goals, no ambitions, no purpose beyond being in a relationship with you, would you respect her? Probably not. You'd think, this person has nothing going on in their life. They're just waiting for me to give them meaning. The same is true in reverse. Women want to be with a man who is building something, who has a vision for his life, who has goals that exist independent of her, who sometimes says, I can't see you tonight because I have work to do. This doesn't mean neglecting her. It doesn't mean being unavailable all the time. It means having boundaries and priorities that exist independent of the relationship. Let me give you a concrete example. You're working on an important project. It's due in 2 days, and you need to focus. She texts you and says, I miss you. Can we hang out tonight? The weak response is to immediately drop everything and say, of course, I'll be right over. The strong response is to say, I miss you too, but I need to finish this project. Let's plan something for this weekend. When you do this, she doesn't feel neglected. She feels like she's with a man who has value, a man who has priorities, a man who isn't desperate for her attention. And that makes her want to be part of your life even more. Your mission comes first. She comes second, always. This is one of the hardest lessons for men to learn, because we're taught that putting her first is romantic. But it's not. It's weak. The fourth trait is controlled availability. Women are naturally abundant with their time and attention. They're open, receptive, and available. They'll spend hours texting friends, talking on the phone, being present for others. But as a man, you cannot be this way. Your time and attention need to be scarce, valuable, not easily accessible. Here's what this looks like in practice. When a woman texts you, don't respond immediately every single time. Not because you're playing games, but because you have other things going on in your life. If you're at the gym, finish your workout before you respond. If you're working, finish your task before you respond. If you're with friends, enjoy your time with them before you respond. Your time is valuable. Treat it that way. When she wants to see you, don't always be available. Have plans. Have commitments. Have a life that exists beyond her. This creates what's called perceived value. When something is easily available, we don't value it as much. When something is scarce, we want it more. This is basic human psychology. Think about it. If you could have a conversation with your favorite celebrity anytime you wanted, would you value those conversations as much? Probably not. But if you could only talk to them once a month, you'd treasure every conversation. The same principle applies to your time and attention. Now, I'm not saying to ignore her or be unavailable all the time. That's just being rude and playing games. I'm saying that your time should be valuable, and she should feel like she has to earn it. Here's a simple test. If you're always the one initiating contact, always the one suggesting plans, always the one putting in effort, you've made yourself too available. Pull back, let her come to you, and watch what happens. When you become less available, she becomes more interested, because now she's wondering what you're doing, who you're with, why you're not as focused on her as you used to be. And that creates attraction. I've seen this happen countless times. A guy is constantly texting a girl, always available, always eager. She's lukewarm at best. Then he pulls back. He gets busy with his life. He stops initiating as much. And suddenly, she's the one reaching out. She's the one suggesting plans. She's the one putting in effort. Why? Because scarcity creates value. You are the prize, not her. The fifth trait is rational thinking. Women make decisions based on how they feel in the moment. Their emotions guide their choices. This is why a woman can be completely in love with you one day and distant the next. Her feelings changed. But as a man, you cannot operate this way. You need to make decisions based on logic, not feeling. Let me give you an example. You and a woman make plans to meet on Friday night. You've been looking forward to it all week. Friday comes, and you wake up feeling tired. You had a long day at work. You don't feel like going out anymore. You'd rather stay home, order food, and watch something. If you cancel because of how you feel, you're operating on emotion. And that's feminine behavior. The masculine approach is to honor your commitment regardless of how you feel. Because you made a decision, and you stick to it. You don't let temporary feelings dictate your actions. This is why women are attracted to men who take care of their health. A man who eats healthy food, even when it's not the tastiest, is attractive because it shows he does what's good for him, not just what feels good in the moment. This is why women are attracted to men who go to the gym consistently, not because of the muscles, but because it demonstrates discipline. It shows that you do what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. You don't go to the gym only when you feel motivated. You go because it's part of your routine, because it's the logical thing to do for your health. Now, here's how this applies to your interactions with women. When you're with her and you go to a restaurant, order something healthy. Even if you normally eat junk food, in front of her, make the rational choice. When you make a decision, base it on logic, not emotion. Don't say, I don't feel like doing this anymore. Say, this is what we're doing because it makes sense. Don't be moody. Don't let your feelings change your plans. Don't operate on impulse. Women are moody. They can crave Chinese food one moment and want pizza the next. That's normal for them. But you need to be consistent, predictable in your stability, reliable in your decisions. This demonstrates that you're not controlled by your feelings. The sixth and final trait is comfortable presence. Women are naturally concerned with how they're perceived. They think about their appearance, their presentation, how others see them. They can spend an hour getting ready just to go to the grocery store. But as a man, you cannot be this way. You need to be completely comfortable in your own skin, regardless of how you're being perceived. Here's what this looks like. When you're sitting with a woman, don't think about how you should sit. Don't worry about where to put your hands. Don't try to position yourself in a way that looks good. Just be comfortable. Lean back, relax, take up space. Sit the way you would sit if you were alone in your own home watching a movie. This signals something powerful. You don't need her approval. You're not performing for her. You're just being yourself, and that's incredibly attractive. Most men, when they're with a woman they like, go into performance mode. They sit up straight. They try to look engaged. They try to be funny. They try to be interesting. They try to prove their value. But this actually communicates low value because it shows that you're seeking her approval. The masculine approach is to simply be present, to be comfortable, to not need anything from her. When you're talking to her, you're not thinking about what to say next. You're actually listening. You're engaged with what's happening right now, not planning your next move. When there's silence, you're not rushing to fill it. You're comfortable with it. You can sit in silence for 30 seconds without feeling awkward. This kind of presence is incredibly attractive because it's so rare. Most people are constantly in their heads, constantly performing, constantly seeking validation. But when you're just there, solid, present, comfortable in your own skin, that's when she feels your masculine energy most strongly. And here's something important. This doesn't mean being lazy or sloppy. You should still take care of your appearance. Shower, groom yourself, wear clean clothes. But you shouldn't be obsessed with it. You shouldn't spend more than 5 minutes looking in the mirror. You shouldn't be constantly adjusting your hair or checking how you look. Be comfortable, be present, be yourself. That's all you need. So let's recap what we've covered today. Attraction is created through contrast. You need to embody masculine energy for her to feel her feminine energy. That means 6 things. Number 1, Be decisive. Know what you want and stick to your decisions without wavering. Number 2, be emotionally stable. Be the mountain that doesn't move, no matter what storm is happening around you. Number 3, be mission-focused. Your purpose comes before the relationship, always. Number 4, control your availability. Your time is valuable. Treat it that way. Number 5, think rationally. Make decisions based on logic, not feelings. Don't be moody. And number 6, be comfortable in your presence. Don't perform. Don't seek approval. Just be. When you master these 6 traits, you don't have to chase women. You don't have to convince them to like you. You don't have to use tricks or techniques. You simply become the kind of man they're naturally attracted to. This is the foundation. Everything else builds on this. In future videos, I'll show you exactly how to apply these principles in specific situations, how to handle tests, how to have conversations, how to escalate physically. But none of that matters if you don't have this foundation in place. If you made it this far, I want to thank you for watching. Subscribe, because we want to help you become better with every day. Understanding these principles is just the beginning. Now, you need to know how to apply them when she's pushing your buttons, when she's being difficult, when she's trying to see if you're really as strong as you appear. See you in the next video.